Good morning and welcome to Bowl TV for the 2016 Intercollegiate Singles Championships live from Northrock Lanes in Wichita, Kansas. I am Aaron Smith with USBC Communications alongside Emil Williams Jr. for today's action. By the end of the day here at Northrock, we will know our semifinalists on both the men's and women's side. We'll be advancing to the televised finals on CBS Sports Network, but today we're kicking off with 8 games of qualifying. On lanes 23 and 24 will be our ladies featured pairs. Kicking things off with Emily Eckhoff, the 2015 ISC champion. She's joined by Tawny Vollmer of Weber International. And over on 25 and 26, our men's featured pair will actually have 3 on a pair. So I'll go a little bit slower. We have Nick Eckert from Calumet, Matt Russo from Weber International, a member of Junior Team USA as well, and Ben Pilardi from Lindenwood University. So we'll give you a recap of everything going on today in just a little bit. But welcome back to Bowl TV. Thanks for joining us here. Be sure to share on social media that you're tuning in to the 2016 Intercollegiate Singles Championships. Hashtag ISC, hashtag a future for the sport, hashtag go bowling. And of course, we'll have a recap on bowl.com later this evening. So everyone sit tight. 8 games qualifying underway here in Wichita, Kansas. Thanks for joining us. Nice cover in the fourth frame by Matt Russo to avoid the open frame. Taking care of the 3-6-7. Top 24 men and top 16 women from 4 sectional qualifiers from across the country made their way to Wichita here, earning a spot. And for all information on the 2016 Intercollegiate Singles Championships, be sure to visit bowl.com/ISC. You'll be able to find qualifying results as they go throughout the day. We'll get the bracket up there as well. Nice cover by Nick Eckert. Big time spare shooting going on everywhere. Of course, the one big interesting part about the Intercollegiate Singles Championships along with the team championships is nobody knows what the pattern is. So not even myself and Emil here in the booth know what's going on. Neither did these competitors. They had 15 minutes of practice to kind of figure out the lay of the land and then go from there. So we have some coaches in attendance as well here. It's still early here in Wichita, so we expect the crowds to get bigger throughout the day here. Throughout qualifying, we'll get to see, I believe, every competitor on both sides, so they'll only get to see these pairs once, and then the real excitement today will kick off during match play. Single elimination match play here. 3 game totals, total pinfall advancing, so it's one and done here. No elimination bracket. No second chance, so qualifying essentially just determining seeding here. But on both sides, getting a bye or 2 certainly can help your way through the bracket. If you're in the top 4 on the women's side, you actually get a 2-round bye before you have to lace up. If you're in the 5 through 8 position to qualifying, you get 1 round of a buys. And if you are in the back half of the women's field, you have to make your way through the entire bracket to get to the semifinals and on CBS Sports Network. For men's match play, once again, 24 players in the field compared to just 16 for the ladies. So if you're in the top 8, you receive a 1-round bye. The other 16 will have to make their way through the entire bracket. Some discussion in the chat room. The 2017 ISC and ITC will be making its way to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, along with the NCAA Bowling Championships. next year. Will be part of the opening festivities before the 2017 USBC Women's Championships takes place in the capital city. Nice break for Calumet Eckert there, just staring down a 2-pin. For Emily Eckhoff, a very memorable run to the ISC title last year. In one of the most impressive TV debuts. Eckhoff put up a pair of 237s, didn't let any frames get away from her. 2 clean games on her way to the title. Ended up defeating Nebraska's Julia Bond in the championship match. Julia Bond in the field here, as well as one pair to our left. Verdi Crawley, who was actually the #1 seed heading into match play last year. Crawley fell to Eckhoff in the semifinals, while Bond defeated Robin Renslow of Vanderbilt. Some big scores, one pair to our left for the ladies to kick things off. Weber International's Verdi Crawley, 234 out of the gates, while Stephanie Sheridan of Delaware State, 242. So quickly figuring out what's laid out here at Northrock Lanes in Wichita, Kansas. Definitely a long day for these competitors, but definitely worth it in the end. For the chance to possibly represent your school on CBS Sports Network a little bit later next month. Nice shot from Tawny Vollmer, who's already spent some time on CBS Sports Network. Part of the 2014 Women's ITC champion with Robert Morris, Illinois. I believe Tawny's now a grad student. Decided to switch over to Weber to finish out her collegiate career. Tenth frame underway on both of our featured pairs. Matt Russo can now get to 182 with the conversion. Nick Eckert looking to get to 198. Tawny Vollmer looking to slide the 2-4-10 over. Gets it. Nice conversion. She can still get to 180. Emily Eckhoff working on 3 in a row, can get to 222. Ben Pilardi from Lindenwood will be up on lane 26 in a moment after Eckert finishes up. He can get to 203, working on double. All right, and then as game one wraps up, welcome to Emil Williams Jr.
Well, hello.
Joining us in the booth here. We'll be tag teaming this effort here in 2016 for both the ISC and ITC, and welcome back as a past ITC champion, Emil Williams Jr.
Yeah, it's a little bit different being on this side of the
And we'll certainly
settee area.
in this, yes, in the non-bowlers area, where you're now relegated to as a commentator on Bowl TV, and we'll put together some stories as well.
I'll tell you, I'm way better at the commentating part than the bowling part at this point.
You and I both, sir. You and I both. 183 for Emily Eckhoff. Tawny Vollmer, 178. Final shot for Russo gets him to 181. Eckert in the books at 195. And Lindenwood's Ben Pilardi will have the honor of wrapping things up here in game number one. Delivers to kick things off in the 10th.
Welcome everybody watching. Of course, as Aaron mentioned, qualifying, all 8 games of qualifying here this morning, and then this afternoon, match play will begin. We will have that for you as well, of course. Also, team competition beginning on Thursday morning, to be exact, and Friday's competition as well. Pairs getting done here after the first game. The competitors move. Right lane will move one right. On the left lane, they will move one pair left. So game 2 underway for the women. Meredith Crawley and Jacqueline Evans. Crawley already with a strike on the board. Watched her in practice, and she seemed to figure things out relatively quickly.
It definitely showed that first game was in the 230s to kick things off. So, yeah, that's it's definitely a different challenge coming in. Obviously, as we mentioned, we don't know what the pattern is. Neither do the players, neither do the coaches. Just the lane man and the lane machine. That's about it. So, it's definitely a guessing game to figure out, you know, whatever your method may be to kind of figure out distance, figure out volume, and figure out what's the best way to attack this mystery pattern, if you will. But yeah, definitely got to feel good to come out of the gates, shoot a big number to start, and definitely sets up for good things for the remaining 7 games.
Well, our men's featured pair high game here was 200 by Ben Perlardi. 200, 195, 181, not too bad. Of course, not the high scoring we've seen thus far on the women's side. Of course, 3 on a pair for the men. Generally higher rev rates, higher ball speeds, maybe playing in a little bit more. So you'd expect maybe a few high scores, a few low scores in the early portion of this block, and then of course, as things tend to break down, you'd expect at some point the scores will be higher for the men's side. We can only see about the first 6 to 8 lanes here as we head to game 2.
Now we had some folks asking about lane assignments. I'm actually going to get those posted in the description area below in just a few minutes here. Working on that right now. So you can see when your favorite players are making their way here to Bowl TV.
Game 2 for the men will be Stephen Cowan and A.J. Chapman from Wichita State and Darren Tang from San Jose State.
Definitely
that's a pretty solid trio.
That's a pretty solid trio, and probably pretty big for the Wichita State contingent getting to get to cross today. So that's just luck of the draw, but they definitely gotta like that, being able to communicate like they have all season, and to see what's going on out there, being able to talk about moves, ball choices, changes. Of course, Darren, I don't know if you really can't see it from Bowl TV, but we can see it here on site. Darren getting to look at his brother's masking unit just above lanes 25 and 26. Darren's brother Michael, the 2015 champion. Darren, very instrumental in that, was his coach on the sidelines during the TV show. And you know, Darren had Michael, had some issues on, I believe, the right lane to start, and was able to figure things out. Then shot 259 in the finals against Miko Walker of Notre Dame, Ohio, to record the win. Miko Walker back in the field this year. Also a first-time member of Junior Team USA in 2016.
Game 1 scores for the women after one. You mentioned the high scoring on 21 and 22 in both Stephanie Sheridan and Verity Crawley. And of course, respectively, Stephanie and Verity leading, or have the top two scores, I should say. Stephanie, of course, up top, 242. Verity with 234. And the lone two women to go plus in the first game.
That shot gets away from Verity there in frame number 4. AJ Chapman looking at trouble as well over on 26.
Official scores after Game 1 for the men. Daniel Hansen from Robert Morris, Illinois, 267.
Good way to start the day.
It was a very good way to start. In fact, Mr. Hansen, no stranger to high games, and singles competition, shot 300. And sectionals, I believe in Smyrna, en route to, of course, his qualifying appearance here. Michael Davidson, second from Calumet College of St. Joseph, 230. Darren Tane, you're seeing right now on lane 26. Lane 226, Brandon Ruck from William Patterson, 225. Corey Schultz from Moorhead State, 224. Ashton Maxwell, Weber International with 221. Jacob Giesel from Moorhead State, 214. Tyler Albrock, West Texas, 203. Michael Kissel, 201 from Suffolk County, and Ben Collardi in 10th with 200. So that is your top 10. Again, 24 competitors on the men's side. 8 games of qualifying.
And once again, a bad qualifying set doesn't necessarily knock anyone out of competition. It just makes it a little bit longer road to go through the bracket. Of course, there's going to be a break when we're all said and done. Going to re-oil the lanes for match play coming up later today. But that gives, you know, for the guys a little bit closer to the bottom of the standings, a chance to maybe regroup. Obviously, they probably attacked the pattern in a way they maybe didn't want to necessarily to kick things off, but got to make those adjustments and move on to the next thing, because there's nothing you can do about it after these 8 games. Like I say, you just got a little bit longer road perhaps, and then anything can happen in a 3-game series match. So just about getting comfortable once again and doing your thing. I know at the 2014 ISC in Reno, Nevada, or at the Reno Sparks Convention Center. And since we're in Wichita, Wichita State's Heather Melvin was the number 16 seed on the women's side, ended up making her way, making the changes, and knocked off, I believe, Danielle McCune to earn her spot on the TV show. Diana Zavilova ended up taking home that title in 2014, but once again, after that little break, and you get to go to the best of get to go to the 3-game matches, anything can happen.
singles competition is really a good opportunity for, of course, athletes to represent themselves and their schools, bring home another national championship as well.
Yeah, it's definitely cool, and we've even had in the past where some folks maybe go to colleges that don't have a collegiate program. Kyle Barnes, back in 2011, I believe, did not have, or his school did not have an actual collegiate program, but as a USBC collegiate member, he was able to bowl the ISCs and ended up taking it all the way home. But yeah, definitely some solid school support going around when we had the introductions today. I believe the entire men's and women's Weber International teams all in attendance already, making some noise for their teammates who made it into the ISC field.
Yes, they have 4 competitors, 2 in each field. As program, I believe that is the most from a program as a whole in this year's event. Wichita State also with 4. I originally wrote Weber with 5, but I thought I saw someone else that was 4. Wichita State again with 4, and again. I guess it's still early for me. Wichita State with 3. You're watching 2 of them, of course, here.
We'll let it slide because it is early in the morning. According to my computer, it's 6:45 a.m., so I'm going to go with that. Have not adjusted off the West Coast yet from the USBC Women's Championship, so.
Hey, I don't even have an excuse. At least you have a built-in one from your West Coast travel. But yes, Wichita State with 3. Stefania Cobo, a lone female participant for the Shockers this year in this event. Morehead State qualified 3 men from their squad.
I think that was pretty interesting because, and the slow clap started for Darren Tang there in the single pin conversion, but yeah, I believe they were the last 3 spots out of the Addison sectional was Morehead State representatives. One of them, Zach Doty, the 2015 under-20 junior gold champion. Morehead State also as a team going to be represented here this weekend in the men's ITC field. Right now, 25 and 26 doesn't look like fun.
It does not. It does not. A.J. Chapman on the board with his first strike in the 6th frame. Of course, when you don't know essentially what you're bowling on, you've had a game. These guys have had a game. And ends practice, of course. Still trying to figure things out. Makes game 1 from Stephanie Sheridan and Verity Crawley look that much more impressive.
Even Verity having a few opens here over on 23 and 24, but playing just pretty far left already for game 2.
There have been some high score shots. Of course, you mentioned Daniel Hansen right now, plus 67 after one with 267.
And he's a few pairs to our right, the left-hander. Oh, no, that's Kenny Ryan, excuse me. There's actually two Robert Morris players in the field. I saw the jersey, I thought it was him.
AJ with a nice double there. Starting to find a little rhythm. Again, scores in our immediate area look to be a little low.
Emily Eckhoff over on 21 and 22, putting together 220s after a 180 start. But yeah, that looks like that might be the big number around us here.
That also might be a solid pair as well, considering the scores that have been posted on that pair as well. Something to keep an eye on as we move further into the block. The ball change there from Darren Tay, able to get the 9 out. That 9 out of there. Walker having a nice game so far. He's on lane 28. Paired to the right, the men's featured pair.
Miko just a sophomore, so made the championship match his freshman season. Looking to take it one more spot here in 2016. Crawley's run of 3 in a row ends with a 3.610 to kick off the 10th. She can convert to get to 192. Cowan delivers his second double, also a member of Team Australia. Well, he's not partying in Wichita here.
That was a very good shot, too. A little more direct. Jacqueline Evans trying to nail down the 3-pin here. Got a tough start to her game and has been clean since the 4th. Unable to get a few strikes going though. There are games like that. So save as many pins as you can, certainly. The long block, long format, of course, and still match play to go. Certainly no harm early, but mentally you want to make sure you still feel good about what you're doing.
I think that's the key there. That's such a great point where, you know, games like that, 8 games on a tough pair where you have no information on, those things are going to happen. So it's just a matter of learning something from each shot and taking it to the next game. And obviously they're going to get the opportunity to see this pattern fresh once again and just kind of remember what worked, remember what may have not worked so well. And of course, it'll be, you know, you'll be staying on the same pair too once we get to match play. So a little bit more of an opportunity to understand the nuances of what's going on a particular pair here. 190 for Crawley, 155 for Evans. Darren Tang unaffected by the random legs on 23 and 24. Making sure everything's good to go for our next game. Of course, big thanks to staff here at Northrock Lanes. Making sure the competitors have a top-notch facility here. We're a great host last year in 2015. Both the opportunity to be out here and get to see some national champions crowned.
Very talented field as a whole, both men and women. And that is exactly what you'd expect with the top bowlers in the country from all across the country as well, which is, again, to me, another fine portion that what makes these events so cool and so great. Of course, many of the bowlers friends with each other, of course, have traveled with one another as well, have competed on the same teams, represented their countries as well, competed against each other as well. So you see up and down the center, the settee area, of course, even before practice begins, just when someone from one squad sees someone from another squad, just the immediate greetings and such.
The camaraderie is definitely there. So, as you mentioned, they get to see each other a lot throughout the tournaments, whether it's Tier 1 events or if, for the teams kind of in the same area are going to catch a lot of the same events. Yeah, you just get to know folks that way, and the college bowling community certainly brings people together. It brings a future for the sport. Joining us on 23 and 24, Nicole Troa from St. Francis, Illinois. Along with Mallory Caraway from Martin Methodist. Final shot on 26, courtesy of A.J. Chapman, looking to get to 155. Try something different. He's happy to not be on that pair anymore. 153 in the books. 173 for Darren Tang. Stephen Cowland, 174 leading the way. All right, we got an update on the standings here on site. Verity Crawley leading on the women's side with 424 through 2. Stephanie Sheridan also falls off a little bit on the pace-wise, but still plus 420. Emily Eckhoff in third at 407. Those are only 3 competitors plus on the ladies' side. In fourth, Morgan Brown from Fairleigh Dickinson, 390. And Stefania Cobo from Wichita State, 388, rounding out our top 5 right now. Nicole Troa at 347, sitting in 11th. Mallory Caraway, Martin Methodist, also on our featured pair, 305. She's currently in 16th.
men's featured pair for Game 3 will be Michael Kissel from Suffolk County Community College, Joshua Anderson from St. Ambrose, and Miko Walker from Notre Dame, Ohio.
Now it looks like the scores are updating online. So once again, bowl.com/ISC. There'll be a tab for 2016 results. Depending on what browser you're using, you may have to clear your history or refresh, but it's showing up here on our computers in Wichita, Kansas at least. So since he's walking around in front of us here while we wait for 25 and 26 to get going, big thanks to Gary Brown and his staff here, putting in the hours yesterday, working closely with everybody here on site to make sure these kids have the national championship they deserve. So big thanks to Gary, Roger Nordic, Zach Barton, Andrew Lowy, Richard Payne, all on site. If I'm missing anyone else, I apologize. But could not do it without those guys, so big thanks to them.
Nice opening shot there from Michael Kissel on lane 25. Again, Mallory Caraway up on 24. Mallory qualified 4th at the Smyrna, Tennessee sectional. Plus 35 for 6 games. Nicole Troja qualified 3rd at the Addison, Illinois sectional. Season average, nice 197. Won the Western Shootout during the season. St. Francis, another example of a young program, but already making noise, making their 2nd consecutive ITC appearance as a team. They will be in the field on Thursday, or beginning Thursday.
Yeah, definitely a feel-good story. Tony Talley and George Contos really doing some great work out there in Joliet, and for a team in its first ITC appearance in this very building last year, made it to the Final Four. I believe they lost to eventual champion North Carolina A&T. But definitely a good experience coming out winning a few matches in your very first ITC. Can definitely go a long way into building not only the confidence of the players, but kind of help build the program. Start doing that on a regular basis, all of a sudden players want to come to your place, and you can see some of the smaller schools just kind of growing in that aspect. Starting to be able to get recruits from outside the area and other states, and get to be able to pull people that way. That just becomes humongous for the growth of a program.
Undoubtedly. First, there's some grassroots. Yeah, and especially in that particular area, of course, you're familiar with Joliet, Illinois. Of course, not too far from Chicago, but if you kind of go broad in that area, obviously a lot of great bowlers in the high school ranks to choose from and to be able to recruit. And so that's an excellent starting point. Location certainly a good helper to have there. And then of course couple that with coaching staff, talent, all meshed together. I'm sure it won't be too long before The men's program will make the break as well and qualify. The IGCs also, they're starting to notice a few names on the men's side over there as well. So some good things happening in Joliet.
All right, we got a printout of scores after 2 for the men's side as well. Daniel Hansen drops a little bit, but still leading the way. 455 is 2-game total after a 267 start. Brandon Runk of William Patterson, probably the most consistent performer so far. 225, 226. He's at 451 for 2. Miko Walker, who we have on our featured pair, in third. 437 after a 241 in game 2. James Rutledge of Nebraska sitting in fourth at 428. And Corey Schultz of Morehead State in fifth, 418. Total of 10 players plus. But yeah, definitely see some varying scores here. So we mentioned Brandon Runk in second. The only other player with a pair of 200 games so far, Tyler Albrecht from West Texas A&M, 203 and 210 for 413. So definitely a little disparity in scores here in the early going. Take them when you can get them. Michael Kissel with the nice hit there in frame number 5. Looking to find some momentum here in game 3. Katie Mayer from St. Ambrose, one pair to our left, putting together a nice game. Still get to 258 over on 21 and 22. Folks seeming to find some scores over on that pair so far in the early going, so that might be a pair to make your move on. Nice shot by Josh Anderson to make it 4 out of 5. Anderson made the ISC finals or made the ISCs, I should say, in 2015. So back-to-back appearances for him in this event.
Michael Kissel on lane 25 from Suffolk County Community College finished first in the Stratford, New Jersey sectional. 146 over for 6 games. You see Joshua Anderson. He's got the last 4. 6 out of 7. Max 279, so looking pretty good for Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson.
A little too early in the morning for a Matrix reference, but that's okay. We'll let it slide.
Some people will get it out there. Nonetheless, Josh finished 5th at the Addison, Illinois sectional. Again, the top 24 men here in this event.
Now, Mr. Williams, I have to ask, in your long and storied collegiate career, did you ever make it to the ISC?
I did not. I did not. The best opportunity I had was, I believe, 2006 in Smyrna sectional. I was plus, don't remember what, but it wasn't very many. But I think I ended up somewhere in the top 10. I had a chance down the stretch. Couldn't get on the fall though, but good opportunity certainly. And I mentioned that a little bit earlier for anybody. Yeah, you mentioned how you need to be as a USBC or certified member. But yeah, I don't remember who won that year as well from that particular sectional, but one of the cool parts about, again, the event, you mentioned a little bit earlier, just that the team portion. There's one player from the squad bowling singles. Generally, the entire team at some point will be there to cheer, assist, all of the above. So that was always cool. And of course, you have multiple people bowling singles sometimes, so you've got, in some cases, the entire team bowling. So they're all helping each other out. Kind of build some, it can build, I should say, some confidence going into the team portion of sectionals as well. Kind of same thing here. If you bowl well, get familiar, get accustomed to lanes, approaches, whatnot. Can bowl well for Thursday. Of course, it'll be different.
I'm not going to lie, my train of thought has been thrown off. There's a giant unicorn now sitting close to me, and I was not prepared for that today. So definitely a cool thing about ISC and ITC. Just some of the ways the teams get themselves pumped up here. And I know last year we have Neil Cooley in the chat, and they had a Vern Troyer Midland mascot, little cardboard cutout. Got to see him on the television show as well, and teams have their ways of getting pumped up and doing their thing, and there's just a giant unicorn next to me. So how about that?
That is correct. As I look to the left, there it is. And there's another strike for Joshua Anderson. Back 6 now as he heads to the 10th frame.
Katie Mayer and Miranda Henney joining us here. Not too far of a trip for Miranda, representing Wichita's own in Newman University. Mayer, we mentioned earlier, from St. Ambrose, so a pair of St. Ambrose players here on Bowl TV for the moment. Josh Anderson hoping for a little push there. Leaves the 4. Good run though. He can still get to 258.
This is the highest game we've seen on this particular pair.
Definitely Miko has a chance to get into the 230s too, so, or out as well, I should say. So after some struggles in the second game on our featured pair, definitely a little bit of a change, playing a little bit different lines here too. What 4-pin? Miko Walker said after that one. That's what I would have said, but I never do cool things like that.
That is not true. Well done.
Still get to 230.
Another Eve. They started around 9 or 9-10 season. All right, folks. Apologize for the brief stoppage in play. Had to deal with the technical difficulty. So having said that, for those of you who may be joining us for the first time, this is game 4 of 8, qualifying the 2016 My name is Emil Williams Jr.
Making it a 4 in a row.
Katie Mayer about to, or trying to put the finishing touches on another good game. Did not see her final score from game 3, but she was on the way to another great game as well before she makes the turn down to the low end for the women.
Looks like 234 was the number last game, and she can get to 48 this game still. If my math is correct.
Miranda as well, looking for a nice finish. That one's got to get on the horse. Trip 2.
Right-hander's best friend.
Representing one of the hometown teams in Newman University. It's like to be in a city where you've got multiple nationally recognized programs. Of course, essentially competing for talent in some cases, I'm sure.
Oh, I could imagine so. It's, yeah, definitely a nice luxury, especially for those born and raised in the Wichita area. Definitely a great bowling community. And, yeah, to have not just one, but 2 very good programs available with some of the top coaches out there. Of course, Gordon Vatican and Mark Lewis, longtime.
2:18 for Brenda Hisney. Of course, just 2 on a pair for the women's field, so you will certainly expect them to get done quicker, move through their games a little faster. 3 on a pair for the guys.
So yes, not sure the holdup here. I think everyone's around. There also will be a slight break in between Game 4 and Game 5 starting up, so not sure if they have to wait for everyone, if the ladies are going to be at a little bit of a break, or if they get to start up Game 5 a little quicker.
Men's featured pair. Game 4. Colin Smith. Smith, a freshman as well from McKendree University. Ashton Maxwell from Weber International. And Kenny Ryan from Robert Morris, Illinois.
Haven't seen a left-hander on our featured pair since Game 1, so Kenny Ryan representing the left side. Also a 2-time member of Junior Team USA.
It will be Game 5 for the women, but as Aaron mentioned, it will be a brief break. Not everyone. It's like 1 pair left to finish up the first 4 for the women. That just might give an opportunity for the guys here to get a little jump start into their Game 4. Now 2 southpaws we'll see. There's Maxwell. Comes up high, he'll leave the 4-7.
I think that actually might be urethane in his hand too, so.
You know, I've noticed, Aaron, and it might just be across the sport. A lot of tall players from a height standpoint.
So it's just not Kenny Parks versus the world anymore?
It is not. Although, Kenny still kind of stands alone in that regard, no pun intended.
Ha.
Both Kenny and Ashton have to be at least 6'2", minimum. I guess that might be something I would notice because I happen to be 6'2" as well.
Now you're just showing off.
Colin Smith, same thing. He might even be 6'3", 6'4". Something I tend to pay attention to, of course, as you grow, when you're young and you're bowling, of course, and you start to look at varying styles and different styles. What can help you, what can't. Tend to pay attention to taller bowlers to see how they get to the foul line. How much knee bend.
I think there's a particular bowler who's going to be joining the collegiate ranks next year, who's grown quite a bit in the past few years. A lot of folks will be interested to see representing Wichita State. Of course, we're referring to Cameron Doyle. who's all arms and legs nowadays after being a little guy for a while there. It's definitely had a growth spurt or two, and
I'd say he's managed that well.
I would say so. It definitely can cause some detrimental changes to the game, but yeah, Cameron has not let that affect him any as a Team USA and Junior Team USA member.
Absolutely, and that is it can be, you know, an issue. Growth spurts or whatever it may be can affect how you get to the line, how you throw the ball. Of course, you know, kids are constantly growing. So that was a good shot there from Maxwell. Speaking of McKendree, mentioned, of course, Colin Smith here, Greg Young.
Another tall dude.
Pretty tall player as well. Very good player. As well.
Absolutely.
We'll see him with McKendree as well on beginning Thursday. The director of bowling for McKendree University to our right, Mr. Brian O'Keefe. Congrats to, of course, the McKendree women's squad as well. Fine showing at the NCAA Women's Championship. Making a run to the Final Four, led by Shannon O'Keefe. And a treat, of course, in Game 5 for the women's. Fresh off an NCAA Women's Championship. Stephen F. Austin, Stephanie Schwartz be in our featured pair. And that is in Game 5. At this point, looks to be right after the men finish there. Game 4. Stephanie will be joined by Crystal Land, Campbellsville.
All right, looks like Game 5 for the women will be getting underway here a little bit sooner than we thought. So Crystal and Stephanie waiting for the okay, or they have arrows, so we'll see if they get going. Waiting for someone to, Gary Brown saying go ahead. All right, so Game 5 getting underway. So Stephanie Schwartz will kick things off here, representing Stephen F. Austin. As Mr. Williams mentioned, fresh off a NCAA bowling championship. That was pretty fun to watch. Not only the show on ESPNU on Saturday night, but social media as well, getting to follow the Lady Jacks as they brought Stephen F. Austin its first NCAA title.
Nice opening shot there from Crystal Land. Yeah, social media certainly was hopping. Nice job by Stephen F. Austin. I don't know who was handling their social media, but it was pretty cool.
Absolutely. Ashton liked that one off his hand and saw it all the way down the 1-2.
Colin Smith here, a freshman from Huron, South Dakota. Now a pre-engineering major.
Now, we were talking about earlier about programs being able to find ways to recruit outside of their area. Of course, McKendree and O'Fallon, Illinois. Colin coming from, you said South Dakota, right?
South Dakota.
South Dakota, of course, another program on the rise. You know, A.J. Johnson helping making a big name for the program. Has now gone on to bigger and better things with the PBA. After making a run at Masters last year as a senior at McKendree, of course, we already talked about the O'Keefes making their way to the program. Both Brian and Shannon offer a ton of experience and definitely grabbed the recruits' attention.
Absolutely, along with Coach Dennis Nepper as well. Head man of the men's squad. He's been around for some years also. McKendree for a while was certainly always a program that very close, and you could just tell they were just a good break away really from making some noise. And of course now we're seeing them all the time, as we should. We've had some great success in the last 5 years or so. J.R. Raymond took his talents to McKendree as well a few years back. You look across, just the programs represented. You know, in some cases, we'll just say 10 years ago, you could see at least 5 to 7 of these programs were not around, had not been created yet. And if they were in their first year or maybe second year of existence. So it is remarkable to see the growth of collegiate bowling. And of course the talent that represents these respective institutions.
Getting a look at two left-handers on 25 and 26 attacking the lanes pretty differently. Ashton, a more direct line to the pocket. Looks like urethane in his hand. Colin takes care of the spare textbook style. Kenny Ryan definitely going around the pattern. Once again, no information about the oil pattern is released here at the Intercollegiate Singles Championships as well as the Intercollegiate Team Championships until the TV show. So they'll actually have a graphic pop up, or at least that's how they've done it in the past. So folks will possibly get their first look at the patterns when they talk about them on TV. But until then, just a guessing game, as some of the folks in the chat are doing as well. So once again, big thanks to everyone for joining us here on Bowl TV. We'll be here throughout the day with all the qualifying and the 3 rounds of match play for both the men's and women's competition until we know our semifinalists for the ISCs. Finals will be shown on CBS Sports Network in May. And there'll be no action on Bowl TV tomorrow. There's going to be nothing going on the lanes tomorrow, so we'll take the cameras down for a day. Let Wichita's Northrock Lanes get back to what it does best. There we go. As we have the Night of Champions banquet coming up. Of course, the players look forward to that, a chance to celebrate the collegiate season. Getting the announcement of the All-Americans. That'll be tomorrow night, and then the ITC will kick off Thursday morning. Back-to-back light hits on 25 have carried for Kenny Ryan. He makes it 3 in a row. Over on 27 and 28, Josh Anderson still feeling the momentum from last game. He's going to be in the 257 with the conversion here.
Nice couple games for Josh Anderson. He's played the lanes, at least these last 2 pair where we've had an opportunity to see him. Fairly straight, up the boards. Between 5 and 10, he's had a little bit of room out there.
He's had a pretty good look all day. Started with 191 and then 220 in game 2. We didn't have to say anything for that one. The Weber International contingent behind lanes 25 and 26 taking care of it for us there. Cheering on Ashton Maxwell.
Ashton, a junior from the Bronx. Those of me the unfamiliar, the Bronx, New York, of course, but I'm sure most know where that may be.
Nice shot by Crystal Land. Bounce back after the open in the 7th. She can still get to 217 this game. Some struggles for Stephanie Schwartz. Just 1 strike so far. 3 opens up there. Tried a few different balls this game, and just nothing, nothing giving her the right look. We've got to see Stephanie strike a lot this year, so it's okay to not strike for a game or two here. But Stephanie started off 2016 in Las Vegas at the USBC Team USA trials, earning a spot on the junior team for a third consecutive year, and also went on to win the US Amateur, which came back in 2016. So that earned her a spot on Team USA for the first time. Kenny Ryan stepping up, looking for 5 in a row after an open in the 4th frame. Whalen and Dealin from the left side. That one did not go according to plan. Again, we'll have a slight break on the men's side here to just get everything reset after game 4. The ladies will continue on into game 6, so they're bowling a little bit quicker, less people on the pair, only 16 representing the women's side on the ISC, 24 for the guys. All right, as we wrap up game 4, standings through 3 online. Josh Anderson and Mika Walker tied at the top spot with 669. Corey Schultz from Morehead State in 3rd, 648. James Rutledge from Nebraska in 4th at 633. And William Patterson's Brandon Runk rounds out the top 5 with 631. Question about the left-handers. Ashton Maxwell sitting in 9th place through 3 at 613. Kenny Ryan, some struggles, sitting in 24th, 512 through 3, 136 in game number 2. Matthew Russo, the two-handed lefty from Weber, in 17th at 535. Kenny gets 2, unable to get the 9-pin out, though, to finish at 187. Colin Smith finishes at 194. And Ashton Maxwell with the conversion can get to 182, 186 for Crystal Land, and 157 for Stephanie Schwartz. So Game 5 for the men coming up next after a quick break. Game 6 for the ladies will be up here in a moment. So once again, big thanks everyone for joining us here on Bowl TV at the 2016 Intercollegiate Singles Championships. I'm Aaron Smith alongside Emil Williams Jr., past ITC champion. We appreciate you joining us here. There'll be a recap with our semifinalists later tonight on bowl.com. Be sure to check that out. But for right now, we're waiting for Game 5 for the guys, Game 6 for the women. Coming up next here on Bowl TV, don't go too far away. We'll have all 8 games of qualifying before we get to match play later today. Game 5 for the guys now underway. Pair of Moorhead State teammates joining us here. Jacob Yazel and Zach Doty, along with Kelly Metz and Michael Davidson. Over on 23 and 4, our women's feature pair. We'll have Morgan Brown from Fairleigh Dickinson and Wichita State's Stefania Cobo.
Men's standings after 4 games qualifying, leading the way. Joshua Anderson from St. Ambrose, using back-to-back 250 games, 258, 257 in games 3 and 4. So 126 over, 926. He is followed by Daniel Hansen of Robert Morris. Bookend 267 games for Mr. Hansen. 267, 188, 175, 267. 897, Miko Walker third. 894, James Rutledge from Nebraska. 822, Corey Schultz from Moorhead State. 814, Brandon Runk. 807, William Patterson, Michael Davidson. Now on your featured pair here. 803, Ashton Maxwell, 8th. At 795, we just saw Ashton. In our previous game, Nick Crummell from Wisconsin Whitewater at 792, and Dallas Leon from UNLV 785. That is your top 10. Daniel Hansen and Robert Morris, of course, the highest game of the day. Mentioned the bookends, got a couple 267 games. Joshua Anderson, 191, 220, 258, 257. Get you an idea of what he has done. Got a chance to essentially now look at 4 games for the men's side, at least on our pair here. Certainly a variety of styles, but we've seen some varying forms of lane play as well. Some have opted to continue to move left. Joshua Anderson, again, not sure where he began the day, but I have to imagine he has been somewhere close to where he's ended up, or at least at this point in time now, where he's been pretty straight up the lane. Between 5 and 10, we've seen some players as well look to get their ball from left to right. Somewhere down lane between that 5-6 area as well. For the women, if you're just joining us after 4. David Crawley for Weber International, 863, 234, 190, 212, 227. Stephanie Sheridan. They have been the top 2 in some variety of that order since game number 1. Sheridan 242, 178, 222, 199. Katie Mayer third from St. Ambrose. Stephanie Sheridan from Delaware State. Mayer 187, 181, 234, 213. 8:15 after 4 games. Stefania Cobo from Wichita State. And currently on the women's feature pair. 186, 202, 210, 185, 783. Again, that is after 4 games. The women a full game ahead of the men at this point. Of course, if you're intrigued or want to know who will be on the featured pair from here on out, check in the description. Of course, the YouTube event are links to standings and lane assignments. You'll be able to check those out.
Just a reminder to everyone, after we're all said and done with the 8 games of qualifying, we're going to take a little bit of a break, but don't go too far away from Bowl TV. We'll have 3 rounds of match play to determine the semifinalists on both the men's and the women's side. Starting right now, we have it at 1:45 Eastern on bowl.com/livestream. The way it worked this morning, it might be closer to 2 Eastern. But we'll be back regardless, somewhere around that time. So they'll re-oil. These competitors will get lunch, get some fuel in them. We'll be ready to go to the single elimination match play portion. Matches will consist of 3 games. Total pinfall will determine who advances to each round. And once again, qualifying here determines seeding. And if you're high enough in the standings, you could earn a bye or 2, depending on if you're on the men's or the women's side. The top 8 men's qualifiers will get a 1-round bye. The top 4 on the women's will get a 2-round bye. If you're on the 5 through 8 spot, you'll get a 1-round bye, and if you're anywhere else in the standings, got some work to do. If you want to make it to CBS Sports Network, represent your school in the championship round. Three in a row for Jacob Yazel. Starting to get locked in on 25 and 26 here. Talked about Zach Doty earlier in the broadcast, the 2015 junior gold champion. So he's already got to experience some of that time on CBS Sports Network. So possibly putting that to his advantage if he's able to make it out. Some struggles here in game number 5, though. 4 in a row for Morgan Brown. She's a little bit further right than we've seen most everyone else on the women's side, and has found the right look here, connected on 4 in a row.
Brown from Fairleigh Dickinson won the Stratford, New Jersey sectional. 13-20 for 6. Brown up looking for 5. That is a good example of letting the ball do the work right there.
Nice free arm swing. Getting the late kick on that 10. Julia Bond from Nebraska will be on our women's featured pair for game number 7 for their block, and she's going to be fresh off a 250 game. She'll be throwing her fill ball in just a second here. A spare in the first, followed by 4 strikes in a row, a split in the 6th, and nothing but strikes since, so one more can get her to 256. .255 will be the official number. So Julia will be up in game 7 here on Bowl TV.
Giving the women a full game ahead of the men. Wondering why it says game 5. It is game 5 for the men at this point.
Brown unable to make it 6 in a row in the foundation frame, but the conversion of the 610. Still have 246 out there. 236, excuse me. Disaster for Cobo in the 9th. Staring down to 710.
Tobo, a freshman at Wichita State. From Puerto Rico. several international medals. He's a four-time youth national team member. Puerto Rico. Was a little right from Brown, but right part of the lane the ball did just enough to tip. He got the carry. Strike from Davidson. Powerful strike. He's got 226 off the board. He'll head to the 10th frame on a double.
Very nice, 235, Morgan Brown. Taking care of business in game 6. Kobo with the double, so it's 184 out there. Been a long game for Zach Doty here on 25 and 26. Just one strike so far, a few splits up there. Last shot looked pretty good, and he was staring down a 7-10 for a second. So just things not cooperating here in game 5.
Yeah, and he's throwing some good shots. He's throwing a good shot. I could think back a couple frames ago. Good shot, left the 4-pin, maybe just a hair in, but makes a move left, almost leaves the pocket 7-10. Takes care of the 7-pin in game 5 for the men. So at this point, Zach, the furthest we've seen any player, any right-handed player from inside standpoint. Earlier in the day, saw some bowlers going to cross in 15, going left to right. Jacobs look seems to be in that area as well, but doesn't have anything that looks to be very violent on the back end. Just controllable.
Just some violent carry there. Taking care of business, kickoff. The 10th can still get to 226. Davidson with the conversion gets to 215. Julia Bond and Samantha Pash joining us on 23 and 24. Mentioned Julia just fresh off a 255 game. Samantha making the long walk here from the low end of the house to our featured pair here, representing Indiana Tech.
Good shot there from Doty. Might have been a ball change. Julia Bond doing what Julia Bond does. That is strike.
Was named the most outstanding player of the 2015 NCAA Women's Bowling Championships as a freshman, leading the Cornhuskers to the title last year. As part of the all-tournament team just last weekend. Nice 226 there for Jacob.
He threw a lot of quality shots there. I like his ball motion at the end of the pattern. I think it's exactly what you need on whatever this is, because that is a mystery. At this point, 5 games for the men here, and after 6 complete for the women. So you have an idea of what's going on.
Sack finishes with all 3 in the 10th to get to 179, so game 6 for the guys coming up next. Looks like Tyler Albrecht and Daniel Hansen will be joining us from over on 27 and 28 as they finish up the 10th frame now. So all eyes on 23 and 24. Looks like Dallas Leong from UNLV will be the 3rd member to join on 25 and 26. Tyler Albrecht of West Texas A&M finishes with 200 on the nose. Daniel Hansen is again an up and down type day. 156.
Nice opening shot from Tyler Albrox. Updated standings after 5 for the men. Still leading, and that is Joshua Anderson, St. Ambrose. Game 5, 232. He's had a solid block thus far. 191, 220, 258, 257, 232. Miko Walker in second at 1066. Brandon Ruck. In third, William Patterson, 1064. Daniel Hansen. From Robert Morris, Illinois. Right now in your featured pair at 1053. James Rutledge from Nebraska at 1023 in fifth. Michael Davidson in sixth from Calumet College of St. Joseph, 1018. Matthew Russo from Weber International. Nice 266 game in game 5. Brought him to plus 12. Dallas Leon, you'll see, we're watching currently, I should say, in your men's featured pair. 10-10, 8 players in the plus category.
The delay on 25 and 26. We have some, looks like bowling ball or two stuck on 27, 28. The hard work and Brent Bowers getting things done here. Just off of off screen here. Looks like we're back in business.
Continuing with the men's scores. In ninth, Nick Crummell from Wisconsin Whitewater, 982. Ben Pillardi in 10th from Lindenwood, 976. Nick Eckert from Calumet College, 974. Tied with Tyler Albrock, you see right now from West Texas A&M, 974 as well. Stephen Callan in 13th, 973, and going to tie for 14th. Darren Tang from San Jose State. Gazel from Morehead State, 972. Corey Schultz from Morehead State in 16th, 961. Ashton Maxwell in 17th, 955. A.J. Chapman in 18th from Wichita State, 951. Michael Kissel from Suffolk County Community College, 932. In 20th, Kenneth Smith from Florida State, 926. Zach Doty in 21st, tied for 21st with Armando Villa. At 892, Colin Smith from McKendree, 882 in 23rd. 24th, Kenny Ryan from Robert Morris, 856. Again, this is qualifying for seeding purposes, so not a total pinfall format for those who may or may not know. For the women, they get a full game ahead of the men at this point. Leading the way after 6 games, Julia Bond. Did a nice set from games 3 through 6. 1281. And Katie Mayer in 4th with 1227.
All right, folks. We apologize. We're having some internet issues here, but we're looking to get those resolved, and we're back up and running. Game number 6 of our men's featured pair in the 9th frame. Already in game number 8 of 8 for the ladies. So Stephanie Sheridan from Delaware State and Haley Williams, local here at Newman, are joining us for the finale. So game 7 and 8 of men's competition coming up in just a little bit. So get to see our final few bowlers, including the world